Welcome in, everybody, once again to Titans Tube. My name is Justin, and this is Jake with us here, and we're going to be previewing the Tennessee Titans at Baltimore Ravens, Week 10. 10, yes,
11?
right? 11? Where
Yes.
am I in time? I don't know.
The time is gone. It's
as
just
you
the
said,
NFL season comes and goes, man.
Yeah, and as you saw in the picks video, I have been out of town, so I don't even know really where I am. I've been. I need to finally get settled and stay in one place.
You've
but,
been wandering in the Arizona desert. You're hallucinating and all kinds of you're seeing mirages, and you don't know what week it is.
Exactly. All right, but yes, I think you're right. It is Week 11, and thank goodness this long 10-day wait is over to get this ugly Colts loss out of our minds from last Thursday night. It's not going to be easy, Jake, going to Baltimore, but we did do it in 2020, earlier this year in January.
Yes.
We went up to Baltimore and took down the Ravens 28-12 in a massive upset, one of the best wins in franchise history, if not the best win, because there's a lot of Titans-Ravens bad blood from the early days. So that
I've never been more on cloud nine than that game. I don't know. It was just the way I remember the entire week. It was, Lamar Jackson is God's gift to football. The Ravens are unbeatable. The Titans have no chance, and then they went up and just absolutely smacked them. So, I would agree with the sentiment that it was one of the highest points maybe in the franchise since maybe early on in the Super Bowl and such.
Yeah, I mean, I would argue it could be maybe even bigger than beating Jacksonville in '99 to make it to the Super Bowl. Yeah, we didn't make it to the Super Bowl after beating the Ravens, but with as much heartbreak as the Ravens caused us through the years in the playoffs, 2008, 2000, getting one back on them like this and breaking their hearts for a change, that was good. We share our broken hearts with those fans now. But this is going to be a different matchup, Jake. Interesting. This is not the Baltimore Ravens of last year. They've already lost more games this year than they did all of last season. This is a beatable Ravens team, but they're still very lethal. Lamar Jackson's always going to be a scary weapon to corral. He's the face of that team and the MVP from last year. He's a problem matchup every single week. And the Titans also, yes, they're 6-3 as opposed to 4-5 last year, but we seem to be trending down. We are trending down, but and we also don't, feel like we're as strong that team that did beat the Ravens last year. So, kind of both teams not playing their best ball from last year. So, yeah, I don't know, Jake. What's your initial outlook on this?
Yeah, I mean, you said it, and we were kind of talking about it before we started recording. And, look at this team last year after 9 games. They're coming off the loss in Carolina. Malcolm Butler out for the year. Very low point for this team. You're then going to get Patrick Mahomes back from injury at home in a game you probably have no chance in. And they end up having this signature, amazing back and forth win against KC that nobody saw coming. That's kind of when Tannehill really cemented himself. Hey, I'm taking over this team. This is a new team as opposed to what we saw earlier in the 2019-2020 year. But it's kind of, I'm trying to keep a positive outlook on this team. Yes, they've dropped 3 out of their last 4 and look damn ugly doing it. And that's just a fact. I mean, and also that Colts loss, I have a hard time thinking it was that much of a blowout because it was a tightly contested game. The Titans did have an early lead there.
At halftime?
At halftime even, they were up 17-13, and then it just came down to special teams imploding on itself. I think, and right before recording, they elevated punter Trevor Daniel, our FedEx driving punter, to kick again since he had such a strong performance last week.
Leave him in that.
We decided we're going to roll with him again. So I think moving forward, every special teams gaffe, whether it be from Trevor Daniel or Steven Gostkowski, hangs on the head of Mike Vrabel. And this fan base, I feel like at some point in the year, every year Mike Vrabel's coached has kind of been at his neck a little bit. At least some 2 or 3 game stretch in the season, there's been, this is Mike Vrabel's fault. This is Mike Vrabel's fault. And frankly, this one, I think, lands solely on him as far as keeping Gostkowski, keeping Trevor Daniel after just your horrendous showing of special teams against the Colts, something that cost you the division lead. And you look up after Sunday and the Titans went from being the 1 or 2 seed like 2 or 3 weeks ago, Justin, and now they're on the outside looking in at the 9th seed in the AFC.
That was a fast fall. Unbelievable.
Fast, real fast. And I think it's on the feet of Trevor Daniel and the foot of Stephen Gostkowski. I mean, not solely, obviously, but yeah, I'm trying to keep a rosy outlook, trying not to get my pitchfork out for Vrabel, but every missed kick and every shank punt that we see from here to the end of the year is on Mike Vrabel.
Yeah.
If he does not get a new group of special teamers in there.
Yeah, and it's weird too because J-Rob was making cuts. He cut Bo Brinkley for a bad snap.
Yep.
I mean, he might have had a couple bad snaps, but Gostkowski's been missing kicks all year. Trevor Daniel had the worst punting performance I've ever seen a Titan have. And yet we're keeping them around still. And it's so weird to measure that because we do have a measuring stick with Ryan Allen. And it's like, why? We've seen both of these guys for a game. How can you not go with the guy? Okay, there's a visitor here. There's a visitor here. Hello. You interrupted the episode. It's okay. Thank you.
Talking about the Titan special teams and a black cat crosses the way. That's just kind of how it goes.
That's bad. That's a bad sign. I'm sorry about that, everybody. We're about to see some more implosion from special teams. But yeah, how do you the fans can see what you're seeing during the game and you're not going with the punter that had a great performance against the Bears. Yeah. So I don't know.
And you alluded to it, man. I mean, we saw John Robinson go scorched earth like 2 weeks ago with Joseph and Beasley and Brinkley. And because those guys are not doing their jobs, they're not performing to par. And you have 2 players now that aren't performing to par. I mean, Trevor Daniel has played 1 game. We can kind of give him somewhat of a slip, even though I could have shanked that 12-yard punt. That looked like something I kicked out in the backyard.
Yeah.
But Gostkowski has no merit to be on this team anymore, I think. Yes, it's been a roller coaster of a year, but now you're seeing his foot cost you the Pittsburgh game, and then, you move down the line and it would have been a 7-point game if he makes that field goal at that point in the 4th quarter. Well, he misses it. Colts kind of put the dagger in the heart of the Titans. So with J-Rob going scorched earth with that group of 3 guys that we saw 2 weeks ago, I can't even fathom why Gostkowski's still on this team and let alone why they're still going with Trevor Daniel. But anyways,
hey, we just broke down the special teams. We can just say we already did that breakdown.
At the end, we'll just give it to Baltimore.
They have Justin Tucker and Sam Cook. Obviously, they have a much better thing going with special teams. They have a huge advantage in this game in terms of special teams. So, giant check mark for that. So, yeah, good. I'm glad we got that out of the way. I didn't want to save that one for last. We got the worst part out of the way, guys, and we can move forward. So, Jake, you got this first one. Let's look at the Titans' passing offense versus their pass defense.
For sure. And I want to throw out there about this Titans passing offense. We've seen a tumble of sorts that this Titans offense, specifically Titans passing offense, has seen since Taylor Lewan went out against Houston. Right. In the past 4 games, their scoring is down 11 points a game. Your yards per game is down 100. You can't specifically hang that on Taylor Lewan, but that is kind of the catalyst that has caused this Titans passing offense to tumble from what we saw maybe a top 15, top 12 unit to now all the way back at 24th at just 225 yards a game. And I don't know what that could be. I don't know if Tannehill's feeling more pressure then. Who knows? But you're going up against a pretty stout Baltimore pass defense this week. They're 7th in the league, only allowing 213 yards a game. You have Marlon Humphrey and Marcus Peters on the outside at either corner. Definitely an elite group of guys there. Yeah, definitely real solid group of guys. And then Deshaun Elliott is coming in and Chuck Clark back at safety. Also, I think their secondary as a whole is pretty solid, frankly. They're opportunistic. They force turnovers. The pass rush for Baltimore has been hampered with the loss of Calais Campbell. I wouldn't expect to see him this week. Just the way his injury happened and the timeline that they gave out. He is listed as questionable, but I highly doubt we see Calais Campbell. And then Brandon Williams is probably leaning towards being out in this one too, their nose tackle.
That is humongous because those are 2 big guys. We know Calais Campbell from his Jacksonville days always was a terror to go up against. And then Brandon Williams, is also a really good nose tackle. So,
Mhm.
I mean, the difference in the game could be if Derrick Henry can get consistent rushes. That's what we saw in January. That's how
Yep.
we won that game. Derrick Henry went ham. He ran all over them.
Yep.
So those two guys being out would be humongous. Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. And
Hopefully.
especially going into this one, an impossible must win. Some people are hyping this up as a must win. We'll get to it a little later. We wanted to talk about it.
Yeah.
We'll get more toward the end of the video, but I don't see it as a must win. But this game would be incredibly helpful in the Titans' playoff standings as they are sitting on the outside looking in. I mean, they're tied with the same record as Indy, but Indy holds the tiebreaker, obviously. But this disjointed Titans offensive performances we've seen cannot continue against Baltimore. They're going to need to score points. Baltimore is going to get theirs. They're going to go up and down the field. We already know this, especially against our godforsaken defense. So we're going to need to put up some points. You hate seeing the A.J. Brown drop on the second drive of the game against Indianapolis. That ended up being huge. That ended up being massive in terms of the outcome of the game. If the Titans go up 14-0, the whole narrative could change. But anyways, I just think this disjointed Titans passing attack can't continue. I'm going to give the advantage to Baltimore coming in.
Yeah.
They're just better on paper, better from what we've seen, especially from this passing attack. It just seemed kind of not as in sync as it was earlier in the year, Justin.
Yeah, no, the consistency, isn't there. Even like the small things like A.J. Brown's drop really just kind of changes the complexion of nothing really seems to be clicking like it once was. So, yeah, hopefully that can get back on track. It's going to be tough, though, against those corners and that safety. And hopefully the pass protection can hold up against him as well.
Mm-hmm.
I would agree. Yeah, let's give the check mark to him for sure. So that's two in a row.
That's two in a row for Baltimore. But I think we have an opportunity, as we do every single week, Justin. Take it away, because that Baltimore front got a little gashed on.
They did.
I think that was Sunday night. Yeah.
Cam Newton. I mean, it's a different rushing attack. Ryan Tannehill is not Cam Newton running the ball. It's all about Derrick Henry. So yeah, it's very odd that they still got gashed against Cam and against a struggling Patriots team and offense in general. So we'll see. Maybe it's just Josh McDaniels, Bill Belichick scheming up some stuff that they exploited, or it was the heavy downpour of rain. That was an insane weather game.
Wild weather.
I don't know what the weather's going to be like on Sunday, but it's probably not going to be anything crazy like that. So that's definitely going to help this rushing offense if those two guys cannot go. But they still got some solid players back there. They got Matthew Judon, Derek Wolfe, and another familiar face from Jacksonville, Yannick Ngakoue, who's been traded for the 1,000th time this year. How many times are we going to play him? Did we play him with the Vikings and Jacksonville? And now we're playing him with the Ravens? Yeah. That's insane. Get away from us, Yannick Ngakoue. And also another solid player. I forgot to throw this name in there because I did see his stats. Their first-round pick, I think it was 28th overall, Patrick Queen out of LSU, leads their team in tackles. And he's kind of all across the stat sheet here. He's got 2 sacks, 6 tackles for loss, 2 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries, having a great rookie season. Yeah. So he's kind of anchoring that front seven a bit there for him. So that's going to be a player to watch. So we'll see. I mean, even if Derrick Henry gets his 100 yards, somehow that's not good enough anymore. We've now dropped 2 games this year where he's broken 100 yards and we still lose the game. And that's never happened before except for the last 2 weeks. So
2 out of the last 3, yeah.
I mean, it could be the defense not holding up their end. I mean, that's one of those fluky stats. Like your running back goes over 100 yards and you're 15-0. Like the other things are going on in those games. But it just goes to show, we can't just lean on Derrick Henry. This can't be he's probably not going to go off for 195 yards like he did in the playoff game. But
one can hope.
One can hope.
Boy can dream.
You can't take those dreams away. You can still. I would love to see that. But that shouldn't discourage us. I mean, I think this is going to have to be a give Derrick Henry the ball. I trust this rushing offense to be productive more so than I do with these receivers going up against Marlon Humphrey and Marcus Peters moving the ball that way. So I think we could see more success on the ground here than we did last week against the Colts. Even though Henry went over 100 yards, didn't really feel like it though. So I said we get the advantage. What do you say? I think the
I would
Titans
give the
can take
Titans the
advantage of it.
advantage here,
Yeah.
especially, I know it's a kind of a more of a new look Ravens team, but we saw Baltimore get gashed by New England, 173 yards on the ground for the Patriots
Yeah.
in that game.
Yeah.
And that is just going to have to be the recipe for the Titans this week. Something I would also like to see, Justin, something that drives me insane is when, Derrick Henry might run for 7 or 8 yards on first down. Okay, it's 2nd and 2. He will not see the field for the next 2 plays on 2nd and 2 and 3rd and 2. I don't even
That's Derrick
understand why
Henry
you take
land
him
right
out
there.
of the game.
Yeah.
I don't know why you don't run it 3 more times in a row. I know you want to save him, you want to keep him, but look, you're the 9th seed in the AFC right now. Use your players in a way that is advantageous to your football team.
Yes.
I don't want to see Ryan Tannehill with 5 wide, nobody next to him on 3rd and 2 anymore. I just don't want to see it. And even if Derrick Henry is just a decoy, is just kind of a read option or, play action option for on 3rd and 2, just put him out there because it's obvious. It is glaringly obvious what this team is trying to do on each down and distance, it seems like. And I think that has to do with the stagnant nature of this offense in the past 4 or 5 weeks. It seems predictable and it seems bland compared to what we saw earlier in the year. They did get somewhat creative against the Colts, which I like to see with, the Henry at fullback and throw it out to Deontay Foreman. I loved seeing that. I loved the Jonnu Smith reverse call. That was a great call.
Yeah.
Get the ball in Jonnu Smith's hands more. But
Derrick Henry's
answer.
on the field still. Derrick Henry's on the field in those situations. And this is a team we've seen go Wildcat in overtime against Houston on a 3rd and goal from the 5.
Yeah.
And we ran Henry on 3rd and goal in overtime from the 5. Like we trust him right there, but on 3rd and 2 and during regulation, we're going to take him off the field. Like, I don't know. Yeah, but those situations don't make sense to me.
It's just I don't know what you do. I don't know. I'm just a guy in his basement talking about the Titans. I'm not the offensive coordinator. I don't get paid. I don't get paid to make the calls. But I will still give the Titans rushing attack the advantage here. Derrick Henry has been slowed up a little bit in the past couple of weeks, but yeah, he still's got 200-yard efforts in this 4-game skid we've seen from the Titans. And he's been kind of reeling off a few more of those chunk runs, which you really, really love to see. And this offense desperately needs to get any form of rhythm going. So yeah, I'll give us the advantage here.
Agreed. And minor notes, Darrington Evans was designated to return. I don't know if we're going to expect him in this game, but I'm not as excited to see that because the guys that we have in the rotation now have been producing anyway.
Yeah.
So
no lie.
Yeah, so, I mean, if he is playing, then, yeah, I'll be excited to see him. He does bring that. We still haven't seen that pass catching from any of our running backs, and I think he can add that element to the offense.
Yeah.
So we'll see if he's going to play, but I know he was designated to return off of IR. Anyway, so that's us winning that category with our rush offense. Next is the Titans' pass defense. God help us against the Ravens' pass offense.
Well, speaking of somebody who's designated to return, I suppose, I'm kind of starting to lose hope with Adoree Jackson coming back each week. I'm going to stop even mentioning it at some point until we actually see him on the field. It seemed like it's been pulling teeth trying to get him back on the field. Hopefully with the added, mini bye here, you can see him come back. It would be great if he could. As always, as we've been saying since the Pittsburgh game, but we have yet to see him, so we kind of have to stop counting on him at this point. But I will say, despite how lethal the Ravens' offense can be, they're coming into this one 31st in the NFL in passing at 184 yards a game. Lamar Jackson is not, run and shoot kind of passer.
They don't beat you through the air. They run the ball. So that number's probably skewed, but I guess Lamar Jackson does have games where his arm doesn't scare you. He can be out of rhythm and out of sync with his receivers from time to time. But anyway, go ahead. Yeah.
But the Titans are coming in and 28th in pass defense, giving up 277. So this is just something's got to give kind of category. But this is a similar passing attack to what we saw in January in Baltimore. Obviously, Lamar Jackson at quarterback. He's got Willie Snead, Marquise Hollywood Brown, and Miles Boykin. I think that's actually the trio we saw in the divisional game last year. And then obviously Mark Andrews is who scares me in this passing attack, especially going up against our linebackers who have played kind of poorly. I mean, Jayon Brown has been great in spots, not so great in other spots.
Yeah.
But Mark Andrews, I think, is the more serious threat than any of these three wide receivers. I'm going to say that, and
Yeah.
Hollywood Brown's going to go for 200.
Right.
But nonetheless, I would call this one a push just because we haven't seen that, elite passing performance from Lamar Jackson. Yes, he is an elite player. He is an elite player at the quarterback position, but I would not say he's a great passer by any stretch of the imagination. I think everybody knows that. That's not his bread and butter, as we were saying. So I'll call this one a push.
Yeah, I think that's fair. We'll see if we can get pass rush affecting their passing offense a little bit, but I don't know, man. I would almost rather, if we do get pressure, don't run Lamar Jackson out of the pocket, because that's where he's probably going to kill us worse than if he's still in the pocket making throws from there. I would rather that just happen. Like, I would be shocked if we got Lamar Jackson on the ground in the backfield. I would be jumping for joy if this defense, who's gotten 10-ish sacks all season, is able to sack Lamar Jackson. That would blow my mind. But yeah,
I mean, they had the recipe for it in January. They did a fantastic job against this Ravens offense in January. But
you know who was sacking Lamar Jackson? Jarrell Casey. 2 sacks, not on the team. And I even think who was Correa, not on the team anymore. Yep. Great. Our guys who were sacking Lamar Jackson is not here anymore.
Fantastic.
Go ahead.
Sorry. I see this one as a push. I do want to shout out Breon Borders, who's come in and played pretty solid from the practice squad. I want to give him his kudos. I mean, he hasn't been great by any stretch of the imagination, but he's been better than what we've been trotting out there. So that's always good to see the next guy come up and make somewhat of a difference. So shout out to him. I'm going to call this one a push. Justin, you want to move ahead to the Titans run defense against the Ravens run offense, another kind of so help us God situation.
The Titans, statistically, the run defense is right in the middle of the pack, and it doesn't necessarily feel like it when you're watching the games, but they're coming in at 17th in rush defense. 120 yards per game they're giving up. And Baltimore, no surprise, is second in the NFL in run offense, 164 yards per game. It seems like the Titans' run defense is elite whenever it's 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. And that's when they make the best plays of the game, and as far as stopping the run. But, it's just back to Baltimore. It's the Lamar Jackson show. Of course, he leads their team in rushing yards, and it's Lamar Jackson plus a 3-headed running back by committee. So they got 4 guys that are very active in this rushing attack, with Mark Ingram, Gus Edwards, and the rookie J.K. Dobbins, who's like the Harry Potter of the NFL, because you got J.K. Rowlings and then Dobbins. I don't know, I was laughing about that with Caleb in Arizona. It's like he's the Harry Potter character of the NFL.
Didn't see that one coming, but hey, that's what you get on Titans too, man. I like it.
Completely useless and random information.
No way. I love it.
But they're, this offensive line for the Ravens is banged up. Ronnie Stanley had that massive contract, and then like 2 days later, he's out for the season with a knee injury or something. So a great left tackle that they lost for the rest of the season. And also, I thought I had it pulled up, Tyree Phillips, another starter, right guard position, who is out. So they've been doing a lot of shuffling around on that O-line. So Tyree Phillips, yes, I wanted to confirm that. Little suspect offensive line play. Maybe this Jeffrey Simmons can have a great game handling some offensive line that doesn't have it all together. This isn't the offensive line that started the beginning of the season. Will there be chemistry issues, communication issues going on? Hopefully this Jeffrey Simmons can take advantage of that. I just keep saying Jeffrey Simmons because, like, he's the guy. He's the guy.
He's the entire defense.
It's like Jeffrey Simmons equals the Titans defensive line. Well, Daquan Jones has been showing up. I do want to, I can't disrespect Daquan, but hopefully they can get some push against this O-line. That would be huge if we made them one-dimensional in terms of the only guy that they could run with was Lamar Jackson. And then you either had that option or him throwing the ball. Yeah. But if we could shut down these running backs, then that would be huge for this defense. Also, their lead blocking tight end, Nick Boyle, He was kind of an active pass catcher for him as well. I think he had like 2 touchdowns and 100-ish yards on the season as a backup tight end. Is out for the season. That could be another potential big win for the Titans in this department.
A
So to
huge
speak.
blow for their running
Yeah.
offense. I mean, he's the equivalent of like, for Titans fans, a Luke Stalker or a Michael Pruitt, or
What about
like
you remember Craig Stevens? I love that
the
guy.
all-time greatest blocking tight
Yeah,
end.
what a great. I love that. I love Craig Stevens. Yeah, so
but
that's
he's
the guy
that kind of guy. Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty huge. They're missing a lot of key blockers on the O-line and at the tight end position. So yeah, Rashaan Evans going to have to come up big in this department. He comes up big on the goal line every single time, or on third and short situations, it seems like. So maybe just let him get 9 yards. Do that on purpose on a 2nd and 10, and then for sure you're going to get off the field because you're going to get that 3rd and 1 stop.
Yep.
But
something I wanted to
game for the rush D. Just going to need a huge game from the rush defense. This is probably the key for the game if we're able to shut down their run game with Lamar Jackson and these 3 running backs.
No doubt. And something I kind of wanted to point out, I look for Baltimore to go for it on every 4th down, just like Indianapolis. I saw some people saying it's just like, I mean, why would anybody watching film on our defense respect, our defense at all, frankly? I mean, we're lining up 10 yards off of the wide receivers. A 4th and 1 is going to be easy for hopefully most offenses to convert on us. Now when they have run the ball on those short yardage situations, yes, they have been stopped, and this defense has kind of showed up. I saw some all-22 of Rashaan Evans this year, and while, yes, he does have those highlight plays where he comes through on the goal line or comes through on like a 4th and 1 or something, he's been kind of not great this year as far as committing to a hole, plugging up a hole, run stopping. I'm no film guy by any stretch of the imagination, but I saw some of his play this year, and even I, as somebody who's not an X's and O's kind of guy, was like, what the hell is this guy doing? But
I mean, you can see the tape and look. I mean, it doesn't take an expert sometimes to see like, oh yeah, he didn't. It seemed like he was supposed to, plug that hole, but he was either late or didn't get there or whatever for whatever reason. Yeah.
But yeah, you're gonna have to see a big game from Jeff Simmons or Daquan Jones, Rashaan Evans, kind of the core run stopping force of this defense. Will they be able to do it? Who knows? I could see Lamar Jackson, spin cycling our entire defense for over 100 yards.
He might put on some highlight reel Lamar Jackson plays. Some career highlights might happen.
Oh God. Yeah, and it's a revenge game for the Ravens, no matter how much they want to say that it's not. Definitely got to have some kind of chip on the shoulder. But anyways, another long-winded answer short. Let's give the Ravens the advantage in this category.
Yeah, agreed. You have to. So with that said, that's like 3 advantages for them. 1 push, 1 advantage for the Titans. Looks like on paper, the Ravens have the advantage in this game coming in. I think they're going to be a popular pick for people. They're at home, and Titans trending down, especially on the special teams, and the defense still is not there. So we'll see. Do you want to get to the predictions and key to the game?
Yeah, for sure. Real quick, I did want to talk a little bit and pick your brain on the Titans in this all of a sudden from, the 1-2 seed a couple weeks ago and a catastrophic fall. Now they're on the outside looking in. They're in the group of the log jam of 6-3 teams, including this Baltimore team we're about to play. Right. The Miami Dolphins are surging in a positive direction. They've won 3 in a row. The Cleveland Browns game is going to be huge at the end of this kind of run that we got going. And then the Raiders are there. I mean, it's just an absolute logjam of AFC teams at 6.
Miami? Where's Miami coming from? Get out of here, Miami. You don't belong in the playoffs yet. Aren't you still rebelling? Pissing me off winning so many games.
Tua's got to go 1 year not in the playoffs before he starts taking over here.
But he's coming in confident too. He's kind of jawing a little bit. NFL's not that hard. Look out, man. Look out. You just put a target on your head.
Yep, no doubt. But I don't know. How do you feel, Justin? I think the only path for this Titans team to make the playoffs without, having to deal with all these different scenarios and tiebreakers, because they're losing a lot of tiebreakers right now at about the halfway point in the season, hence, them being at the bottom of the 6-3 barrel as opposed to the top. I don't know. I think the realistic path for this Titans team is to win the AFC South and get in.
Yeah,
I don't know
for
how
sure.
you feel about that. I mean, this Browns game is going to be huge in 2 weeks as far as wild card implications. This Baltimore game is huge as far
Yeah,
as
this is
wild
a
card
tiebreaker
implications.
game for wild card. I don't think the Ravens can catch the Steelers at this point. They're 3 games behind, so they're looking at a wild card too. So yeah, this is
Mhm.
another big tie-breaking game, like you said.
And it's just and a lot of Titans fans are panicking right now, and this Baltimore game is a must win. This is an absolute must win for the Titans playoff hopes. I just don't see it like that because look at Indianapolis. They're also at 6-3 right now, part of that log jam. They are the top of the AFC South right now, but look, 8 days into the future, Justin, you get to play Indianapolis again. Well,
Right.
Indy's got Green Bay this weekend, and they're no slouch. If you watch our picks videos,
Oh yeah,
I'm a big believer in Green Bay. I think
yeah.
they have
Green
a
Bay is awesome.
very good
Yeah,
team. So if Green Bay goes to Indianapolis and beats them, I would imagine Green Bay might be favored in that game. So if
yeah.
the favored team can go in and win against Indianapolis, the Packers, that is, then you're playing for the division lead again. You're playing that Thursday night game with the same implications again
Yeah.
next Sunday. So I don't think it's time to panic yet. I don't know. What do you
I would
think?
not call this game a must win. It would help immensely in terms of wild card uh, tie breaking scenarios and getting that head to head advantage and notching another win in the AFC conference record department. But no, because I mean, if you're still looking at the division, I think you've got to still look at winning the AFC South. If you're looking at the Titans winning a wild card, wanting to get in as a wild card, yeah, I could see this game being pretty massive. But in terms of keeping up with the Colts, I don't see it. It's a must win because like you said, we get them again after Baltimore. So even if we lose this game and the Colts also lose, and then the Colts beat us again, the division still isn't out of reach. They would
It's
still
the same record. I mean, obviously the Colts have
yeah.
the 2-game tiebreaker, but yeah.
Yeah. So there's still a lot of football left. We got 6 more games to play.
Seven if
7.
you
You're
count
right.
Baltimore. Yeah.
Right. So 7 more games to play. Yeah, we're not in must-win territory yet, even with the crowded logjam at 6-3 of the 6-3 teams. And we do have Cleveland, like you said. We get Jacksonville and Houston again. I mean, we've got some and the Lions. We've got winnable games down the stretch here. So I wouldn't call this one a must-win by any stretch, but it would definitely help for sure.
And it comes down, I don't know, the way I'm looking at it as a Titans fan is you look at their remaining 7 games and they have to win at 4 of them. Hopefully just at least 4 of them.
Try
That
to
would
get
put
to
you
10
at
wins.
10 and 6. And, I think, and like we said, we're only 9 games in. Of course, there's kind of this stacked amount of teams at 6-3. That will shake out. The Dolphins aren't going to win out. The Browns aren't going to win out. The Raiders aren't going to win out. These teams are going to kind of disperse and thin out. Hopefully the Titans aren't one of those teams that are thinning out. I mean, they've lost 3 out of their last 4.
Yeah.
But I have faith in this team. This team has been good in December under Mike Vrabel, good late in the year under Mike Vrabel, and especially under Derrick Henry's reign.
Yes.
They've been great late in the year. So I don't know. I just wanted to see where you were at there. It's kind of a peculiar scenario. When I saw that 9th in the AFC graphic, I almost didn't believe it for a second. We're 5-0 a month ago, 1 seed looking great, but then now we're on the outside looking in.
I would say I
don't know.
I like what you said about finding 4 more wins to get to 10 and 6, and even if that doesn't win the division, with that 7th, that extra wild card now this year, you've
10 and 6 got to get you in.
Yeah, that's got to get you in. For sure. But we all know we're going to finish 9 and 7. Who are we kidding ourselves, Jake? Of course, that'd be 5. We got to go.
I am not a part of that camp. I am not a part of the. It feels like all Titans fans are lighting candles around an effigy with 9 and 7 written in the middle, and they're all just trying to make it happen. I'm trying to get that out of here.
Meditating.
We don't need that. We don't need that. Those 9 and 7 vibes anymore.
We've won 3 playoff games as a 9 and 7 team in the past 3 seasons, so maybe that's just where
the
we're
formula.
That's the formula.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
So
anyways,
yeah,
I'll kick it to you, man. Do you want to get some keys of the game predictions for this Baltimore matchup?
I'll try to keep it simple. I think I mentioned it a little bit earlier. I'm looking at our rush defense being able to contain Lamar Jackson and these running backs. Or if they're able to gash us on the ground, then I mean that's going to open up the passing game, and I don't think our offense is able to keep up with that. We've got to keep this a close game, and where we can be giving Derrick Henry the ball into the second half without stressing about having to catch up, being down 2 scores or anything like that. We've got to keep this a close game. Defense has got to get off the field. And it starts with shutting them down on the ground on first and second down. So that's going to be my key. Pretty vague, but that's it. I'm gonna predict an odd score. I think it's because not a boring 20-17 common score. I'm feeling a little crazy, Jake, with this Baltimore matchup. I'm gonna go 29-26. Titans win. I don't know how we're gonna get to those numbers, but it's gonna be one of those weird games.
Hey, I think it does have the potential to be kind of a wonky game. I mean, this Ravens team is beatable. This is not the same Ravens team we played in January. This is not the same Ravens team that went 14-2 last year. I think, a lot of people can come into this game with, the rose-colored glasses on looking at this Baltimore team thinking they're the world beaters that they were last year. Mm-hmm. We've seen Lamar Jackson say, teams are calling out their plays at the line of scrimmage. I mean, this formula's kind of been figured out. And we saw the same thing. It's the same guy who ran Colin Kaepernick's offense back when San Francisco was a Super Bowl contender, and they were running over everybody with Kaepernick back in the backfield. And then that was eventually figured out, obviously, and that fizzled out. So I don't know if we're there yet with Lamar Jackson in terms of figuring him out and kind of decoding this Ravens offense. They still have a great stable running backs. I mean, they can beat you all kinds of ways, but this is a winnable game for the Titans. And it comes down to mounting an early lead. Lamar Jackson, I think, still has yet to win a game when he's down by double digits at any point in the game. So there is their big key to the game. We have seen the Titans start somewhat quickly in the past couple of weeks. They could have been up 14-0 on Indianapolis on Thursday, albeit for an A.J. Brown drop.
With the drop.
Then against the Bears, they got out to an early, comfortable lead and kind of cruised the rest of the way. So I think if the Titans can get off to an early lead, get this defense off the field, don't allow Baltimore to convert those 4th and 1s we know that they're going to go for. I mean, they might as well just do it anyways, and the defense just knows they have to play 4 downs.
Yeah.
So I think it has to do with jumping out to an early start and then also running max punt protect every single time, and then just kind of kick it out of bounds as far as you can up there. Because at this point, I might sign up to be the Titans kicker. I mean, I was furloughed from my job. I punted in Pee Wee football. I had a 40-yard punt in my Pee Wee career on the stat sheet. That's better than Trevor Daniel.
That's super impressive. Heck yeah. I love it. That is better than Trevor Daniel.
That's better than Trevor Daniel. Hey, and who knows? And if the rush is coming at me, I'll take off and run. I don't know. I'll send Mike Vrabel my highlight tape. It won't make any difference. But just my other key to the game is just get punts off and have them go more than 12 yards down the field.
Your key to the game is executing successful punts. That's what it's come to with this.
I hate to be the biased Titans fan, but I think the Titans win that game on Thursday if those horrible punt sequences don't happen back-to-back on possessions for the Titans deep in their own territory. If Trevor Daniel could flip the field instead of giving it back to them 10 yards down the field, we might as well have gone for it on that on that 4th down.
Right, exactly.
And not gotten it. They might have been in even a better place. But anyways, executing successful punts. Gostkowski can't leave points on the field. I mean, we're a broken record now. I can't believe Stephen Gostkowski's still kicking for this team. But those are my keys to the game. Just not being absolutely inept on special teams is kind of my key, and then jumping out to that fast start. I am going to take the Titans in this game. I think this is a winnable game. Mike Vrabel is 5-0 coming off of a Thursday night game or a bye. And
that's extra time for
the extra time window. Yeah. The only game he has lost when he has more than a normal week to prepare was his first game as head coach in Miami in that debacle 7-hour football game.
Storm.
Yeah, that's the only game Mike Vrabel has lost when he has more than a normal week to prepare. And I when he does have that extra time. Yeah, he's kind of a blockhead sometimes. I retired that name early in the year, but now he's looking like a huge blockhead, keeping Gostkowski in. I don't know if it's Patriots loyalty or what. But anyways, I'm going to get to my prediction. I'm going to take the Titans in this one in a bounce back performance. I'm going to take them 30 to, that's with a missed extra point, but a made field goal. Plus 50, as we know. That field goal will
it's got to be over 50. Yeah.
For it to go.
I like it.
So I will do 30 to 21. The Titans take this one.
Wow.
I'm feeling more confident, I think, in this team than other Titans fans are right now. Yes, they're in a spiral, but there's 7 games left to be played, people. I mean, there's
season's barely
almost half the season. Yeah,
yeah,
almost half the season to go. Looking back to last year, this team is 4-5, even more so on the outside looking in. Now you're 6-3 on the outside looking in a much better position than you were. Let's keep our sights set on Indianapolis next week. Also, this division is still very much within grasp. And I don't know. Let's just kind of have a more rosy outlook as Titans fans. I think
I like that.
As much as we can get
me a little optimistic now too.
Hey, that's what whenever I'm pessimistic, I need you to be optimistic, and whenever you're pessimistic, I will be the one.
We're yinging and yanging, and yeah, we bring each other back to the optimism.
And hopefully we'll yin and yang to a 30-21 Titans victory in Baltimore. Good God, just give the ball to Derrick Henry on 2nd and 2 and 3rd and 2. I don't understand why you're having Tannehill throw bombs on every short yardage situation. I know Henry is not a between the tackles kind of guy, but at least have him on the field as a diversion, at least some kind of, I don't even know. Anyways, you have anything to take us to the barn, Justin?
Just repeat the formula that we did last year. I don't think there's anything too different about this Ravens offense from last year to this year. Bring Dean Pease back. I hope he's helped the Titans scheme to shut down this Ravens offense like he did in January. So, I think that's it. Give the ball to Derrick Henry and shut down this Ravens offense like you did last year. And simple as that. It's easy. I mean, it's easier said than done, but I just said it. So now it's time to go do it.
Yep. I like that. That was smooth.
Ooh, all right.
Easier said than done. I just said it. Let's go do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right.
Get it done, Titans.
We'll tighten up, everybody. Have a great football weekend, and let's stay optimistic about this Titans team.
We will. Yeah, don't get down, people. We're still in this thing big time.
All right.
Tighten up, y'all. Like, comment, subscribe, and
all that jazz.
Join us for our post-game video on probably Sunday. Probably. Maybe it's Monday at worst. But, yeah, look forward to that.
All right. Sounds good, man. Take it easy.
See you guys. Peace.
Peace.